So my name is Peter Chappell, and I've been a homeopath for 40 years. And I want to talk to you now about lifestyle-induced diseases. I think it's pretty obvious that we induce lifestyle diseases in ourselves by eating and living in a way that doesn't work. But first I want to talk to you about bees. Just a bit of background so you understand the basics. If a bee stings you, you swell up. And ideally it just swells up locally and you get this big inflammation that's red, hot and stinging. And if you leave it alone and do nothing, it will slowly go down and take it away. And this is what the body does with toxins. It wants to hide them safely or hold them safely in a local area. And it then can slowly take them away through the lymphatic drainage system and safely get rid of them. But it stores it up locally in a big inflammation. I want to tell you something else too about grass. If you cut grass to make hay in the spring, it's twice as nutritious as if you cut it in the summer or the autumn. And what this means is that cows, when they're fed the hay in the winter, when there's snow on the ground or whatever, they eat twice as much of the hay if it's from the spring, from the summer or autumn, as they do from the spring, because they're seeking the same nutrients. And their body tells them they're not getting enough nutrients, so they eat twice as much if the food is devitalized because it's the second cut or the third cut. Well, it's the same with human beings. If we eat devitalized food, we have to eat a lot more. And food, generally speaking, the most vital food is fresh, organic, biodynamic, grown locally and instantly on your table from your garden. Whereas anything from the supermarket is already days old. And any food that's advertised is almost certainly highly processed and very devitalized. For example, a takeaway pizza is a very devitalized piece of food. Well, it's hardly food at all. So fast foods are the ultimate non-vital food. That's like grass growing in the winter being fed to cows. Got nothing in it. So the consequence of this is if you have a lifestyle which involves eating from supermarkets, and you even don't eat the vegetables, so to speak, but even if you eat the vegetables, you're eating devitalized food generally. That's the first problem, which means you have to eat twice as much, if not 3 times as much, to get the nutrients that you want. You just don't feel full up. You keep wanting to eat because there's not enough nutrients. Your body is telling you, eat, 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 because you're not getting what you need. The second problem is, because of the way they grow the food, it's toxic. So the chickens are fed antibiotics, cereals and the staple foods are fed with toxic chemicals and fertilizers to make them look great and to kill off all the weeds. So they're all toxic. So if you eat lots more food than you need and it's toxic, then your body does what it does with the bee sting. It swells up to accumulate the toxins. This, I suggest to you, along with lack of exercise, is the origins of lifestyle diseases. And every one of us is in trouble because virtually to live today, you have to eat and breathe and drink toxins. There is no organic food which is free of everything. Aircraft fuel, for example, is found in everything that grows, plus the water supply. Now, to some extent, you can avoid the toxins by avoiding advertised food and eating organically and freshly. But actually, that's only the beginning of the problem, but it's certainly a good start. And to not exercise and eat that sort of rubbish food is a threat to your life, and you're asking to live a shorter life with more disease by living that way. And the evidence is that people who live badly, live a bad lifestyle, live half as long. That's a serious difference. If you're a homeopath working with patients who are overweight and obviously in lifestyle diseases, and in some countries diabetes has reached epidemic proportions, over 50%, due to lifestyle, you can't expect to treat patients and get them well from their chronic diseases unless you change the lifestyle. And you can't do this but by giving advice. If you want your patients to get better, you've got to give them instructions, practical instructions, an action plan. You've got to work with them on the action plan to bring about a total change of lifestyle if you really want to deal with it. And of course, this usually means you have a family, one person in the family, but there's a whole family with the same lifestyle, and they effectively all need to change. So this isn't superficial stuff. It's no good being a heart surgeon and telling people to exercise and eat better. That doesn't work. Or to stop smoking. You know how long it's taken to get people to stop smoking. So if you're serious about treating people with chronic diseases, first, you have to live the new lifestyle, and secondly, you need an action plan, workshops to get people to live the new lifestyle. Homeopaths who've done this, like Nandita Shah in India, has proved to herself that she can treat most chronic diseases completely through lifestyle changes, including homeopaths. So if you're not getting fantastic results in treating people with epidemic and with chronic diseases in the West, you seriously have to entertain changing the lifestyle. That's a tough thing to do, but it's necessary in this increasingly toxic world. If you wonder why the world's become toxic, you just have to look at the rise of the corporations. The food corporations now control everything from the farm gate to your mouth. And they regard food as a commodity. And when I was a kid, there was no such process. There were processed foods, but there was a little wholesaler, and it went from the farm to the wholesaler to you, to the shop to you. It was a very small delivery chain. It was local, in season, and very few chemicals. In 50 years, we've gone from that to some of the biggest corporations in the world owning the entire food chain, viewing the customers as consumers, viewing food as a commodity and drink likewise, and making it into one huge mega business. We are the victims, if you like, of this system, and we have to step outside of it if we want to stay alive and live great lives. And that includes homeopaths. Okay, thank you for watching.